Yes.
Jai Satchidanand Shuddha.
Jai Satchidanand Shuddha.
Jai Satchidanand. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Satchidanand.
Satchidanand. Rosie, Fabi, Patricia.
Satchidanand Shuddha.
Jai Satchidanand. Gabi, Rosie. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we begin our satsang now from Florida.
Vamos a comenzar el satsang desde Florida.
Yesterday around this time we landed. And then we had to take an Uber about an hour before we reach home.
Ayer a esta hora estuvieron aterrizando y tardaron más de una hora para llegar a la casa.
I know it takes about some time before you get readjusted because we've been away since December, you know. Yeah.
Y estuvo afuera desde diciembre.
So here we are, you know. I'm well rested. Let me get something. I'll be right with you. Okay. In the meantime, let's start the three mantra. Start the three mantra. Who will
Le
sing?
vamos a dar pedir unos segundos para él que va a agarrar algo. Mientras tanto cantamos el trimantra y pregunta quién quiere cantar.
Start the three mantra, please.
Cantemos el trimantra. Gaby, ¿querés vos?
Sí, Gaby canta. ¿Se escucha? ¿Se escucha bien?
Divino.
Vale.
Namo Vitragai, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vatsayanam, Namo Loye Savasahunam, Eso Pancha Namo Karo, Savapava Panashano, Mangalanam Cha Salvesim, Padamam Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Satchidanand. Namo Vitragai, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Sitanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vatsayanam, Namo Loye Savasahunam, Eso Pancha Namo Karo, Savapava Panashano, Mangalanam Cha Salvesim, Paramam Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Satchidanand. Namo Vitragai, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Sitanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vatsayanam, Namo Loye Savasahunam, Eso Pancha Namo Karo, Savapava Panashano, Mangalanam Cha Salvesim, Padamam Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Satchidanand, Jai Satchidanand, Jai Satchidanand, Jai Satchidanand.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, dear Rosie. That's
Hermoso, gracias, Gaby.
We worship whoever we worship, that those qualities enter us subtly, invisibly. They come inside, you see. When we say Namo Arihantanam, we want all the qualities of the Arihant, Bhagwan, to become part of us. Those qualities become who we are, you see.
Cuando nosotros estamos adorando a alguien, vamos a adquirir esas cualidades. Y cuando estamos cantando el Trimantra, estamos adorando a Arihantanam. Cuando decimos Arihantanam Bhagwan, son esas cualidades que entran en nosotros.
Yes. So, and our Gnani Purush Dadashri has laid out the precise steps to understanding the exact way in which we become arihants too. We become kashai free. See?
Y Dada nos ha dado los pasos precisos para poder entender el Arihantanam, libre de todo kashais.
Right. You say arihant, it's a very beautiful state when that which is not part of you stops interfering with you or stops bothering you, you see.
Arihantan es una palabra muy hermosa y es lo que no nos pertenece. Entonces, cuando nosotros estamos libres de esto, nada nos molesta ni nos interrumpe.
That is the essence of liberation.
Esa es la esencia de la liberación.
The essence of liberation is to be free from the wrong understanding and its manifestations in the wrong direction, see.
Y la esencia de la liberación es estar libre de todos estos conocimientos erróneos y situaciones erróneas.
In this Dadavani of 325, it will become famous as a 325 Dadavani because it is a milestone in the Purusharth, not a milestone in the horizontal travel, life after life, but a milestone of liberation, you see, a milestone of liberation.
El Dadavani de 2025 es muy reconocido porque nos muestra las piedras para el Purusharth, no las piedras como obstáculos, sino para la liberación.
I don't know whether I shared with you this handwriting of Dadashri. Did I share you on this Dadavani? Do you know? Okay.
I don't think.
So Dada has written two major points here. And this is so interesting because it has been signed by him. Ambalal Moolji Bhai Patel. Then he draws a line below it and then writes Dada Bhagwan, the support. It's like us writing here Damian Barreto and then line and then Dada Bhagwan. That means that, there is that line of demarcation between the two, you see.
Acá en este hermoso escrito por Dada, nos da dos puntos que surgen, ¿no? Y acá están en la firma primero como Ambalal en Patel, traza una línea y abajo pone Dada Bhagwan, y es como la línea de demarcación entre lo real y lo relativo, ¿no? Sería como si Damián firmara Damián Barreto, línea Dada Bhagwan.
Yeah, this would be our new signature if in the next line, if we have to have a relative name, we will write the relative name, then we put a line like this and write Dada Bhagwan below. Because Dada Bhagwan is the base. Really, Dada Bhagwan is the base of all by which the Mahatmas are now living their life, you see, the base, before,
Ujú.
yeah.
En la próxima vida o pronto vamos a estar firmando con la firma y abajo poner Dada Bhagwan. Y esta es la base para que los Mahatmas puedan vivir su vida.
And it's interesting. So let us go to his beautiful words here. His તને ભૌતિક સુખમાં રસ હોય તો તું જીવ માત્રને સુખ આપ. If you're interested in material pleasures, material happiness, if your interest is in material happiness, then you give happiness to every living being.
Dice que si tú estás interesado en la felicidad material, lo que tienes que hacer es dar felicidad material a todos los seres humanos.
Material pleasures, you see, all the pleasures that are derived through the body, one body, second body, third body, you see, and all of these worldly pleasures of luxury, you see, in every aspect of life, you see, material pleasures.
Ujú.
Ane, yeah, go on.
Dice que esta felicidad material o mundana es para todos, es para el cuerpo 1, 2, 3, y es la felicidad mundana que tiene que ver con los lujos, placeres, buena vida, lo que fuese.
Ane tane dukh માં રસ હોય તો તું લોકોને દુઃખ આપ. And if you are interested in pain and unhappiness, then you give other people pain and unhappiness, you see. And then he writes this, yeah, go on.
Y después dice que si tú estás interesado en el dolor y en la infelicidad, entonces dale a los demás y you continue.
Yeah. And Dadashri says, આ જગત world સર્વસ્વ તારું જ projection છે. This world is entirely your own projection. Projection arises from the word project, when everyone has a project. Okay, I'm going to make a big cake today. That's the project. Or I'm going to draw some plans and build a nice building. You see, project.
Dice que si estás Dada dice que el mundo es tu propia proyección y proyección viene de la palabra proyecto. Por ejemplo, hoy voy a hacer una torta, hoy plantaré nuevas flores o construiré un edificio.
Now, point number 2. So this is point number 1. Okay. Now point number 2. Two separate viewpoints. Okay. Viewpoint number 2. Tare. And Dadashri is saying Tare means you. Bhautik sukh. Ane dukthi sukh. Ane dukthi પર જવું હોય તો quote હું કોણ છું એ જાણવાનો પ્રયત્ન કર. In other words, if you want to transcend the physical material pains and pleasures of this relative world, if you want to go beyond the relative worldly pleasures and pains, then you need to make an effort to know who am I. Who am I?
También dice que si tú quieres trascender todo lo relativo con respecto al dolor, al placer y todo lo mundano, tu esfuerzo debe de estar en recordar, saber quién eres tú.
Mhm. Now, તે પ્રયત્નમાં ફક્ત જ્ઞાની પુરુષની ખોજ કરી તેમની પાસે જઈ તેમની આજ્ઞામાં રહેવું એ મોક્ષ ધર્મ છે. Now, in other words, in that effort to search for a Gnani Purush, in that effort to search only for a Gnani Purush and nobody else, in that search only for the Gnani Purush, then having,
Ese-
yeah,
¿no?
go
En
on.
ese esfuerzo de encontrar un Gnani Purush y solo un Gnani Purush,
Yeah, to search for the Gnani Purush and then go near him and then to remain in his agnas is called moksha dharma, the religion of liberation. Period. Okay.
y dice que, bueno, en este esfuerzo de encontrar un Gnani Purush y encontrar solo un Gnani Purush, acercarte a él y permanecer en sus agnas, eso es el moksha.
He has given this beautiful prescription, the Gnani Purush, in
Él
two
nos da
simple viewpoints of this world. This is fundamental for every human being, you see.
Él nos entrega este maravilloso escrito, esta receta, con dos puntos de vista, ¿no? Que son magníficos.
Now, he has used this word rasa. Rasa means tasteful, that which derives taste, that which, when you think of a grape, even if the grape is not in front of you, there will be some saliva in your mouth, you see. Ras means that it is associated with a drive, an inner drive towards that which is pleasant and tasty and that which gives you pleasure, you see. Ras.
Ras es es probar, ¿no? Es lo que da el sabor. Por ejemplo, has comido uvas y aunque no las tengas ahí, si es como pensar en una uva o imaginarla, vas a estar recordando el sabor y tu lengua va a empezar a mojarse. Eso es ras.
Yeah. You see, the entire world, this ras, if you put niras, ni means no, niras means no such interest, if people all over the world are drinking coffee in all different forms, espresso, this, that, coffee from morning till evening. And whereas if you go to a woman in Gujarat in the village and you offer her an espresso, will say, "What? How can you drink this bitter stuff, I have no interest in it." Right?
Dice que el mundo, Niras es lo contrario de Ras, y es a la persona que no le interesa. Por ejemplo, nosotros estamos tomando café desde la mañana hasta la noche, los expresos, y si vamos a Gujarat y le ofrecemos a alguna mujer, si quiere tomar un expreso, va a decir que esto es amargo, ¿cómo puedes estar tomándolo? No tengo ningún interés.
Yeah, right. Not a modern young girl in the city of Ahmedabad. No, I'm talking about the ladies in the villages in Gujarat. They've never even tasted that kind of coffee, right?
Ujú. No digo la gente joven que está en la ciudad, porque ellos sí han probado ese café, pero por ejemplo, en los pueblos que no están acostumbrados, eso es lo que te van a contestar.
And the most fundamental instructions, you see. If you have had enough of this, if you have had enough of these pleasures and pains of this world, then you will want to go above it. You want to search for something else, something different. Then you will have to come back to this fundamental question of existence, which is, who am I? Who am I in all of this, you see? Without that question, there is no movement in the direction of liberation, you see.
Dice que es fundamental, ¿no? Que si ya tuviste demasiado sobre todo esto mundano, vas a estar buscando algo diferente. Y en ese camino de encontrar algo diferente, lo fundamental es saber quién soy yo en todo esto que está sucediendo
Yeah.
o que hay.
Uh-huh. And then finally he writes something below this, see. And he writes this, he writes this. He says, "Hu pote Dada Bhagwan nathi." Okay. પણ દાદા ભગવાન આ દેહમાં સર્વાંશે પ્રગટ થયા છે. તે દાદા ભગવાન છે. I myself am not Dada Bhagwan. I am not Dada Bhagwan. But Dada Bhagwan has manifest within me completely, 100%. And that one is Dada Bhagwan.
Ujú. Dice, yo no soy Dada Bhagwan, se manifestó en mí 100%, y ese es Dada Bhagwan.
Yeah. And to that Dada Bhagwan within Gnani Purush Dadashri, within Ambalal Murji Pai Patel, we give our deepest reverence field, namaskars.
Y con Dada Bhagwan en él es un Gnani Purush y está Ambalal Patel que está ahí.
We give our namaskars,
Ahí está allí para que le hagamos nuestros namaskars.
Yeah. No. And then he signs. This is such a precious document. Vadodara, that is the Vadodara, is the Gujarati name for Baroda, Baroda, Vadodara. Vadodara. And then he writes the Gujarati calendar, Asowad 11, Samvant 2039. Dada writes the Gujarati calendar date, and then he writes November 1st, 1983. 1983. To me, this thing is so absolutely magnificent, you see. This entire document, human beings will keep coming back to it. These are the fundamental facts of life, you see. Fundamental facts of life,
Dice que acá en la firma él escribe Barodra y después pone en Gujarati la fecha 209 y después pone noviembre 11 de 1983.
1983, yes, 1983. So he must have written this on one of the Aptavarnis, one precious Aptavarni or wherever, but now it is being shared with the world. The Spanish-speaking world has access to it through your translation and our sharing this. You see, this is so beautiful. It is worth translating it in your language, for your center, you see.
Esto está en Dadavani, pero es la primera vez que se comparte con el mundo de habla hispana. Y es maravilloso que nosotros lo tengamos. Es muy valioso tenerlo traducido en nuestro propio idioma.
All right, so anybody wants to say anything about this beautiful?
I want a copy. ¿Alguien quiere decir algo de
You
esto?
know, what it is a copy is in your PDF. You see, this is the PDF that you guys have already translated, you see, into Spanish. This is the PDF, But you
Thank
can add these lines below that. In your PDF, you can add these lines. Let me see, where did it go? And it becomes part of you. It becomes part of the document, and also it's available to you because people will say, "Hey, what is this writing here?"
Entonces esto está en nuestro PDF y lo podemos bajar y agregar para que la gente sepa de qué se trata todo esto, este hermoso documento.
Yeah, and if I find the photograph, I will share it with you. Then you can get it printed. But you have to, if it will, if you can, any of you artists can lay it on top of the photograph of Dada in Spanish. Now you got a very beautiful document.
Y dice que si podemos hay alguno que sea artista con la foto de Dada y tener la traducción escrita también, y entonces sería maravilloso.
Or you can ask the IT team in
Shuddha.
yes, Damian.
Can we use those words to invite new seekers?
Absolutely. This is so absolutely fundamental. So you can, when you have new seekers and you share with them and you explain to them these fundamental truths of life, you see, fundamental truths of liberation, life and liberation. Life is pleasure, pain, cause, effect, you see. And so you can say, we don't expect all of you to be interested in number two. Number two is you want to go beyond this pain and pleasure. So if then here it is, there is follow number one. And if you have had enough pleasure in life and enough pain in life, you really want to now be free, then you really need to search for, you need to pay attention to who am I. You see, yes, you can spend a whole evening discussing this, you see. So from the very beginning, the goal is very clear in two different directions. People say, my life is happy. I've got a beautiful home, wonderful wife and children. I've got a good job. My body is in good shape. I'm in good health. I do not do anything wrong in life, And so you can say, then you're fine, but make them understand that it is not forever. That's all, all that are temporary pleasures. This will not last. This will not last. You see? And so
May I translate, please?
Please, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Damián le preguntó si nosotros podemos mostrarle esto a los buscadores en las próximas reuniones que vamos a tener. Entonces, sí se los podemos mostrar, le podemos explicar y bueno, puede ser que estén interesados en el primero, en la primera parte, te van a decir, bueno, yo tengo una vida maravillosa, estoy bien de salud, estoy bien económicamente, tengo una esposa maravillosa, hijos, está todo bien en mi vida y tampoco hice algo malo. Entonces, bueno, está bien, pero pero sí transmitirles, ¿no? Que está bárbaro, ¿no? Pero que todo esto es temporario y que en algún momento no durará para siempre, ¿no? Es temporal.
Mm-hmm.
Y, y ahí va a buscar, ¿no?
Yeah.
Como que tenga el conocimiento de quién es.
So yes, Damian, it's an excellent idea. You cannot have a better fundamental introduction than this. You see, these are simple words of Dada. Dada, when we Mahatmas try to go to new people and explain to them, we simply can't come to the point. What's the point? And then, then the other person will start talking and arguing with you, and then one other person will say, no, maybe this way and this way. No, absolutely. What is your interest? You see, simple stuff, you see, everybody wants material pleasures in this world, but the other then goes in a lot much deeper into the necessity for material pleasure versus the extra unnecessary necessity. In other words, you already got a car that takes you around, it's enough, and between you and your partner or your wife, you can adjust the time so that when you're using it, she doesn't use it, but when you're not using it, she can use it. So you don't need the second car, you see. You don't need the second car, or do you really need a second home, you see? Do you need, 10 pairs of suits, you see, or 15 pairs of shoes? Everything, you know what I mean? I mean, the list is so. Why is it that you keep on bringing more and more stuff? In other words, are you trying to find, do you think these things are going to bring you more pleasure? Do you think these things will bring you pleasure? It is just the sense that you can say this is mine is the pleasure. When you say this is mine, then there is pleasure. If it is in the cabinet in the shop, then there is no pleasure. But if you say this is mine, then automatically the pleasure arises. So mine is the problem. All right.
Dice que es así, que es maravilloso esto que se te ocurrió, es como que va a llevar a las personas al punto, ¿no? Y son palabras tan simples. Y con esto va a surgir la pregunta sobre cuál es tu interés para las personas, ¿no? Entonces, todas las personas buscan placer material. Pero está el placer material versus el extra necesario, que no es necesario, por ejemplo, tener 2 casas, 2 autos, 20 pares de trajes, 20 pares de zapatos. ¿Para qué tanto? ¿Crees que todo esto va a traer placer a tu vida? En el único momento que te trae placer es cuando decís, en el en el sentido de que esto es mío. No estás sintiendo placer cuando estás haciendo la compra ni nada, sino cuando sentís que es mío.
Pleasure is that which is defined as that which does not increase or decrease, and that which does never leaves. It becomes that is part of you, you see. So we all know the answers. The important thing is how do we frame this in a simple way, in a simple manner, so that new human beings will be interested in this, you see. And
Dice que este es un placer que surge, ¿no? Es lo que va surgiendo de todo esto. Y no se va, esta sensación de querer placer. Y estas palabras son exactas y te van a, depende también de cómo enmarques la presentación.
and this sentence here, a jagat sarvasva taru ja projection. This world is entirely your own projection, which is an interesting use of the word projection, you see. you created a project by wanting this or wanting that. Oh, this home is not good enough. I want to build a better one. But, you leave this world before we can really build the home of your dream. So then now you already have created a project in the last life. And then in this life, depending on your merit karma, you will end up with a very large home, you see, or large in the eyes of others, you see. Not large enough for you, just large in the eyes of others. It's what others think about it that fills your satisfaction, you see. That is your rus. That is your interest, see. But anyway, that's how life is. So this sentence is actually a heading in our this Dadavani. It's coming projection, you see.
Yes.
Yes. And then
Dice, sorry,
yeah.
esta frase que habla como de que el mundo es tu propia proyección. Y tú creíste esto, queriendo las cosas que quieres esto, quieres lo otro, quieres construir una casa inmensa, y resulta que te mueres o te vas de este mundo antes de que puedas terminarla y te va a quedar pendiente para otra persona. Y si la terminas de construir, esta gran casa es por lo que otros piensan de ti. Eso es eso es RAS, ¿no? Como qué es lo que piensan de ti. Y va a haber títulos que va a estar hablando de las proyecciones en este Dadavani.
And yes. Taru ja. Ja means only yours in a projection. In other words, nobody else is coming into this project. It's you. Through the intentions in your project in the last life, the projection is now the result in this life, you see.
Yes. Dice, ya es solo tuyas y habla que las proyecciones son todas tuyas y son las intenciones que vos cargaste en una vida pasada.
You see. And very deep secrets are there in the vicinity, the nearness, or going close to. Why do you go close to the Gnani? Because only when you are close to the Gnani that you will receive the agnas. Otherwise, you're not going to. If you just say hi to him, it's not going to happen. You will have to come to him, and then you will get his agnas. Agnas is, once you get the agnas, now you're in the religion of liberation automatically that we have been following, you see, now for so many years together.
Acá los secretos, ¿no? Que esto de estar cerca del Gnani, puedes estar cerca del Gnani y puede pasar por el lado tuyo y lo vas a saludar, pero si no estás recibiendo las agnas, solo cuando recibes las agnas, obtienes la religión de la liberación.
So it's so interesting here, as I read this sentence, number 2 sentences, I see very deep secrets in it, you see. If you want to rise above the material pleasures and pains, then you need to make the effort. This is interesting. You need to make the effort to know who am I. You just need to make the effort to know who am I, you see.
Dice que profundamente en estas palabras, dice que si tú quieres, hay profundos secretos, ¿no? Y que si quieres salir de este placer y dolor, lo que necesitas es hacer el esfuerzo de saber quién eres tú.
Yeah, because my dear friends, you and I already know, some of us already know, that human beings are not capable of knowing who am I. But at least in the very least, out of this whole lifetime, can you make an effort? Can you just make an effort to know who am I? So all that is required before you meet the Gnani Purush is to make an effort to look in this direction, not in the direction of the world of pleasure and pain. Nobody looks at world of pain, but they have to see pain whether they like it or not. They have to see hunger, disease, old age, you see, like Lord Buddha saw, you see. You have to see it. You see, you cannot just look in the direction of pleasure only, you see. So number one is that. Number two is at least try to look in the direction of knowing. How do I know who am I? How do I know who am I? You see, this is the beginning of liberation. You see, and that is so fundamental. We don't jump straight by telling them, oh, it's available in 2 hours and the Gnani will do it. Where is he? Indian. Oh, Indian, I'm not interested. No. Hey, the Gnani Purush doesn't say you come to the Gnani Purush. At least first he says is, first make the effort to understand who am I. Yes, see, we should not jump steps, Damian. Here, let me just share it again, that page. What this Dadashri never wrote many words, but when he wrote, this is exact, precise, fundamental blueprint right in front of us.
Dice, el primer paso es, tú y yo sabemos que los seres humanos no saben quiénes son. Entonces hay que hacer un esfuerzo para saber quién soy, el esfuerzo de mirar en esta dirección, ¿no? Y poder ver también el hambre, el odio, todo lo que existe en el mundo, ¿no? Eso es lo que le pasó a Buda. Y después está el otro punto, dice que trata de ver en dirección de cómo sé quién soy yo. Y ahí, en esa pregunta es que comienza la liberación. El Gnani no dice que tienes que ir a India, y no pide que saltes pasos, ¿no? Pero sí que comiences a preguntarte quién sos.
Yeah. So the human being will say, at least he will make an effort to know who am I, and then really that effort should focus on the direction of searching for a Gnani Purush. Dadashri doesn't say, come to me. He just says, search for a Gnani Purush, you see.
Los seres humanos tienen que hacer el esfuerzo de saber reconocer quién soy yo, ¿no? Y entonces después pueden poner el foco en encontrar un Gnani Purush. Pero el Gnani no dice vengan a mí, es encuentren un Gnani Purush.
Okay, so that is, I think, I think that's going to be an important document to really translate, you see. And share. This is for sharing. We're sharing printed words of Dada all over the world. Fundamental is this original handwritten notes, words of Dada. You would all agree this is so fundamental,
Dice que compartan estas palabras de Dada, ¿no? Que por ahí no escribió mucho y cuando escribe están estas magníficas palabras, compartan las palabras.
So now we come to our Dadavani.
Today I don't remember where we finished.
I have noticed.
Page 31.
Page 31. I know you write, but I don't see these numbered here in this.
Okay.
See,
so we can go, one cannot figure out his own mistake.
Yes, that's right. I see that, yes. So I'm going there only. Thank you, Pavi, thank you. This because I marked it in my Gujarati last time, see? And I must apologize to all of you in this movement, getting ready to return, I have not uploaded the satsang from last week, which I will. Okay, I will try to do this today.
Dice que no
So,
pudo, con esto del viaje no subió el último satsang, pero ya lo va a subir. Se
it
dice
only,
disculpa por eso.
it only takes 10-15 minutes to do it, but it didn't happen. So now, now again comes the promise. Whenever you fail to do something, then the promise comes. I
Dice que
promise.
cuando él promete, nunca falla en eso,
Yeah.
cuando hay promesa.
Bueno, Patri,
¿Qué?
¿puedo hacer una pregunta? Me quedó
Sí,
la
por
duda.
supuesto.
¿El documento era letra de Dada?
Sí, sí. La firma de
Ok.
Dada, la palabra de Dada, todo.
Handwriting is
Escrito
Dada.
por él.
Yes, handwriting is also Dada. Huh? Handwriting is Dada. So precious. So
Es
precious.
escrito por la mano de Dada.
And Sandra, you learn to write it in Gujarati, and it's there. You want to learn something, learn those words first. Learn those
¿Quieres
words.
aprender Gujarati, Sandra? Aprende esas palabras.
Even if you don't know any of the words, these are the most important words. Right. So let us continue. I was just leading up to that. You see, there we just covered that the world is your own projection. There nobody's doing dakali at all in it. You see, we covered that. Now we are coming to the next one, and we already covered this one also last time. So now we come to this one here, which Fabi was mentioning. Okay, this one here. One cannot figure out his own mistakes, whereas he can immediately pinpoint the mistakes of, and it is just, you should not have in plural. One cannot one cannot catch his own mistake, but he can immediately he immediately knows about the mistake of others. This is because the intellect is being used, isn't it? It is in this way that interference keeps happening in the world. Okay?
Uno no puede darse cuenta de sus propios errores, mientras que puede señalar inmediatamente los errores de los demás. Y esto se debe a que se está utilizando el intelecto, ¿no es así? Es de esta manera que la interferencia sigue ocurriendo en el mundo.
Yeah. We have covered this. This is from the book of the Flawless Vision. And in our long series, 2.5-year series of the Flawless Vision with you, we have covered this particular part. You see, this is part of it.
Acá esto que estamos leyendo ahora lo hemos cubierto, ¿no? En las sesiones donde estuvimos viendo la visión impecable.
Yeah.
Y esto pertenece a eso.
Yeah. So this one here, Dadashri says, the intellect is being used, it is being employed, and the intellect immediately lets you and I know the fault of the other person. But the intellect cannot see. Intellect will not let you see your own mistake. You see? Yeah. Intellect always shows the mistake of others. You see? Intellect is a protector of the ego. You see, intellect keeps feeding the ego, and the ego does not want you and I to get liberated in this world, you see.
Acá dice que la causa de tener estas proyecciones es debido que el intelecto ha sido usado. Y el intelecto en realidad no protege el ego y no permite que podamos ver nuestros propios errores. Podemos ver los errores de los demás, pero no nuestros propios errores, porque el ego no quiere la liberación. Entonces, el intelecto defiende el ego.
A human being cannot the correct word is here, cannot catch his own mistake. Catch, just like the fisherman catches a fish. In the same way, to be able to catch your own mistake and pull it out, you see, this is impossible for human beings, you see. That is why they visit the psychotherapist for years and years and years. What did I do wrong? Why did my mother treat me like this? Blah, blah, blah. Just goes on and on and on.
Yes. Dice que los seres humanos no pueden de ninguna manera ver o agarrar, ¿no? Dice catch, es la palabra, es como pescar, ¿no? Pescas, tomas el pescado, y lo tiras, pero los seres humanos no lo podemos hacer. De esta manera, por eso siempre vamos al psicólogo, o a las terapias y hablamos siempre de lo mismo y hablamos y hablamos, nuestra madre, la historia, todo eso.
The intellect is the reason why interference keeps happening here, see.
Entonces el intelecto continúa interfiriendo, eso es lo que sucede.
The extraordinary Gnan of the Lord says that you should not accuse anyone, you see. When you accuse anyone of any fault, you did this, she did this, he did this. You should not form opinion for anyone.
Ujú.
Do not
También
harbor. Go on.
dice que el maravilloso extraordinario Gnan lo que nos enseña es no acusar a nadie, no culpar a nadie y tampoco tener opiniones o creencias sobre nadie.
This do not harbor any kind of bhav, inner intent towards anyone. Bhav may be of two types, positive or negative. Just do not give any space to any kind of bhav for anyone, you see.
Ujú. Dice que no tengas ninguna clase de intenciones internas hacia ninguna persona, ni positivas ni negativas.
You see. If you realize, in other words, if you know through experience that the world is indeed flawless, then you will be free. And there is only one you. In ignorance, this y becomes small y. And in the awakened state, that small y becomes the big Y, you see.
Yes. Dice, pero si tú te das cuenta y reconoces que el mundo está libre de faltas, entonces tú, y está escrito con mayúscula, porque habla del despierto, del consciente, serás libre, ¿no? Si tú te das cuenta que el mundo está libre de faltas, tú serás libre.
Every living being in this world is indeed faultless. Correct word is flawless. There is no flaw. Fault means the intellect is directing you to the fault, whereas when there is no flaw, where is the need for the intellect, right? I mean, if somebody gives you a flawless diamond, then if you say, oh, give me the microscope, I'm going to look for a flaw, you're not going to find it because it is a flawless diamond, you see.
Dice, entonces cada ser humano en este mundo es de hecho libre de faltas, dice acá, libre de faltas. Es como si te regalaran un diamante hermoso y le dice, permítemelo que voy a mirarlo con el microscopio para ver si tiene faltas. Y de hecho no tiene ninguna falta.
And I am the only one at fault. Why am I at fault? Because I'm looking for faults. If you don't
Entonces
look for
dice,
faults, then
yo soy el único que está en falta. ¿Por qué estoy en falta? Porque busco faltas.
looking for a fault in someone else is the direct kicking kicking and trashing the agna of Vyavasthit of Dada, okay?
Ujú.
Yeah,
Y esto de buscar faltas en alguien es el verdadero golpe de los agnas, ¿no? De Yavastit,
you know,
de Dada.
you don't kick any one of these agnas. These agnas are to be carried with a lot of love within you, in your heart, and above your head. You see, these agnas are the only thing that is now our religion, you see. Hmm?
Ujú. Entonces, lo único es sí, no hay que pegarle a las agnas, no hay que dejarlas de lado, y es porque son las agnas lo único que hay que llevar, no solamente en la cabeza, sino también en el corazón.
And this word, it is due to my own faults that I am bound, means I feel constrained, I do not feel free, I do not feel liberated, you see. It is due to my own faults, and these faults are the result of seeing faults of others in the last life, you see. Hmm?
Ujú. Esto se debe a mis propias faltas y por eso me siento atado y no puedo encontrar la liberación, el bienestar. Entonces todo esto viene de vidas pasadas.
Mhm. So when such a vision, drashti, is attained, this is called the flawless vision, you will become free. Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Mm. Drashti, cuando Drashti, visión impecable, adquirimos la visión impecable, nos volveremos libres.
So go ahead and read this yours
Yes.
translation. Mhm.
El extraordinario Gnan del Lord dice que ni siquiera debes acusar a nadie. Tú no debes formarte opiniones sobre nadie. No obligues, no albergues ningún tipo de intención interna hacia nadie. Si tú tomas conciencia de que el mundo es en verdad impecable, entonces tú serás libre. Todos los seres vivos de este mundo son impecables y yo soy el único culpable y es debido a mis propias faltas que estoy atado. Cuando obtengas tal visión, Drashti, tú serás libre.
Mhm. Wonderful. The world
May I
will,
share something?
yes.
I was talking with Cecilia from California and last year, and she said, if I see faults in other, if I don't see the God, the Dada in others, I will never become a Dada.
I will never.
Just become free or feel like I see the pure soul, absolute pure soul. If I don't see that in others, that won't allow me to become.
Yeah.
Is that?
¿Podrías traducir, Patri, por favor?
Que hablando con Cecilia decía que si no puedo ver, si yo no puedo ver a todas las personas como almas puras absolutas, como dioses, entonces yo tampoco voy a poder, ese es el motivo por el cual yo tampoco me convierto en alma pura absoluta, liberada o diosa o como lo quieras llamar.
This is how you should see that. This is how Cecilia sees it. There are 4 other agnas that allow you to be free, be who you are, you see. So these 5 component agnas, all of them are encompass each other, you see. So if you see this relative world as it is, you see, without opinions, you're free. If you see evidences, circumstantial evidences that are scientifically operating as the reason what of this world is carrying on, then you're free, you see. If you are in equanimity, neither disturbed by anything, a painful file, nor very pleased by a very pleasant file, you're fine. You're just liberated, you see. And when you are in satsang means sumiran. Sumiran, Sumiran. Sumiran. Sumiran means you continuous inner automatic chant It's no longer a chant. It's automatic state. Soyama Pura, Soyama Pura, Soyama Pura. It's automatic. You are free. You see, so there are so many other ways in which this is happening for Mahatmas. Okay? This what this Cecilia is describing is wonderful and is correct for her, you see.
Yes, I like it when I heard it. Thank you, Shuddha.
And it's beautiful. Yeah.
Dice que están todas las agnas para que nos es ver al alma pura de la otra persona y también es ver al mundo tal cual como es, sin tener opiniones, y que las cosas que suceden es Yavastit, ¿no? Y quién es el que gobierna el mundo, quién está a cargo de todo, es Yavastit. Y si viene una persona y se acerca, es es perfecta, sin carga, y si puede venir también una persona hermosa. Y ahí estamos con todas las agnas, y estar en satsang también nos permite estar en este estado así de
Yeah. And what she's
alma
describing,
pura.
yeah, what she's describing is the easiest agna, the easiest of the 5 agnas, you see, is the vision of and as the pure soul. Of, vision of the pure soul of the other, vision as the pure soul of the other. As means solo, I see the pure soul. You see, I am aware of the pure soul and the presence of the pure soul of each one present here, or the one who comes in front of us. So it's the easiest agna, and it's beautiful. It's really wonderful because it does not, it is the fundamental base. That is the Dada Bhagwan, that we talked about when Damian raised that, the headings that we talked about this morning, you see. Yeah.
Yes. Bueno, dice que este comentario de la forma de Cecilia es que es la visión del alma pura, el alma pura del otro, ¿no? Y el ser consciente de que todos somos alma pura. Y esta es la base fundamental, y también tiene que ver con lo que Damián hoy proponía para compartir con los buscadores.
So Vishuddhatma Bhagwan, let us all.
Permiso. Voy a agregar una sola cosita, Patri. Es
Todo
la
lo que quieras.
visión del alma pura del otro como alma pura. Yo desde mi lugar de alma pura veo al otro, y esa es como la más fácil de todas las agnas, que es lo que Cecilia estaba describiendo, que es perfecto para la visión de Cecilia, pero que también tenemos los otros agnas para ir liberándonos. En la medida que podemos cumplir en un 100% alguno de los agnas, ya estamos liberados. Gracias.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Fabi. Being the self, being the self. Okay, I'll charge it in this chat. The being the self, and is equal to as the self and of the self. You see, as the self as capital. Let me correct it. As the self and / of the self. You see, in other words, it is not, I cannot see your Amapura, pure soul, if I am not in the vision of the self. If I am in the vision of Shuddha, then I cannot see your pure soul. So I have to come back to who am I, you see. So I am Apura. Then I see, now everything is seen as pure. Everything is seen as pure. I am pure, you are pure. Souls, pure, pure, pure. Impurity is the fault, and the faults are not now in the vision. It is only the purity that is being seen, you see. All faults that we are describing are the impurities, and the vision is only on the gold, you see. There is, so it is automatically separated when I say Soyama Pura, it's been Rhinasele. So you come back. So it's as the self, of the self. Of the self means Patricia is in front of me, but Patricia's self is what my interaction is all about. Relative stuff is on one side. Yes.
Dice que ser el ser es como el ser y de el ser. No puedo ver tu alma pura si yo no estoy en la visión del alma pura. Entonces es volver a quien verdaderamente soy. Soy alma pura. Entonces en ese momento veo las almas puras. Impuro es ver las faltas, pero la visión solo está en el oro. Yo soy alma pura. Soy alma pura.
So, Christian, we'll come to your question after the break. Let us take about a 10-minute break. Thank you.
Yes, Shuddha. Thank you. Vamos a tomar 10 minutos y después va Cristian con una pregunta. 10 minutos de recreo. Jai Satchitananda.
Jai Satchitananda, gracias.
Gracias.
Okay, we're back. Yes, dear Christian.
Jai Sachidanand Shuddha.
Jai Sachidanand.
It's a little question. I just was wondering why it's the easiest agna, the one that you talk about to see the pure soul in the other soul.
Pregunta Cristian porque dice que el agna más fácil, la más fácil es ver el alma pura. ¿Está bien, Cristian?
Yeah.
Sí.
Yes, it is the easiest for the following reasons. Number one, it does not require us to do anything. It simply is the awareness. It is simply the awareness of who am I. The awareness itself is the agna. The awareness has gone beyond, has transcended the awareness that used to be I am Christian and I am doing all of these things. I have to do this. You see, this awareness is natural. The other ones are relative. A relative has a trap, because the moment you see anything in the relative, there is always the charitra moha, which is the discharging illusion, you see. And that which is discharging, the illusion grabs you, making you feel this is happening to me. She's nice, he's bad, etc. So it bypasses that relative vision, which is associated with some traps, and it doesn't require the ever-increasing awareness of scientific circumstantial evidence application, you see. It's natural. It's natural to our state, our existence. Our existence is, we exist as the eternal one in this changing, constantly changing relative reality of this world. You see, I'm sorry I spoke too long. Go on. Yeah.
Dice que, ¿por qué es la más fácil pregunta, Cristian, ¿no? El ver el alma pura. Dice porque primero no requiere que hagamos absolutamente nada. Esa es la conciencia de que yo soy alma pura. Y esto es absolutamente natural. También, porque si no, y también qué es lo que muestra, que hemos trascendido la creencia de que yo soy cristian, que yo hago, que tengo que hacer, todo eso, ¿no? Y esto tiene que ver con, es una trampa en lo relativo, y tiene que ver con charitra moja, que es la descarga, es una descarga de ilusión, ¿no? Y esto te atrapa, me lo hace, no me lo hace, es lindo, es feo. Y esta trampa de lo relativo tiene una visión. Y entonces estar en yo soy alma pura no requiere la aplicación de nada más, es natural, es nuestra existencia.
Yes. Furthermore, just as to see and enjoy this world, this beautiful world, we do not have to do anything with the eyes. The eyes takes in all the scenes, you say, of the world. All the forms, the shapes, the activity, everything. The eyes automatically are seeing effortlessly, you see, to enjoy a beautiful scenery in the mountains or in the other flowers and the trees and the birds, etc. There's nothing that the eyes have to do, you see. So the relative vision, just as the relative vision does not require any effort, so also the real vision is effortless. The real vision is the awareness of the eternal nature of the other human being too, the other one also in front of me, whether he is a difficult file or a pleasant file, is not the issue here. The other one is as eternal as I am, you see. And that is how it is. The awareness of my eternal state is easy. Dada has placed us there. Dada has brought us home there, you see. So being home is the easiest thing in life. It is going away from home that you have to make all the preparations, pack the bags, iron the shirts, make sure you got all the stuff that is needed on your travel. Getting out of the home is the problem. When you have to return home, you see, it doesn't matter what you put in, you just gather everything, sit on the bag and put the zipper on, come home. You don't have to worry about you don't have to, there's no extra effort needed there, you see. So, and also and also Niruma said that, he used to say that to all of us, seeing the self, seeing the pure soul is the easiest, you see. And settling a file with equanimity is the toughest. Those are the things. In between lies the awareness of the Vyavasthit, you see, and the acceptance of the Vyavasthit. The world is the puzzle itself, and though puzzle means inacceptance, lack of acceptance of what is there. You don't, frustrated, somebody says something to you across the breakfast table or the lunch table, and it bothers you. Why should it bother you? But it does bother you. And the fact that it bothers you means it turns into a file. If it didn't bother you, it is not a file. If it doesn't bother you, it's not a file, So yes, it's a good question. Why is Agna 2 the easiest, you see?
Thank you, Shuddha. For Christian, looks like a shortcut.
A shortcut.
Very good one.
Yeah, it is a shortcut. Of all the shortcuts, our entire shortcut is very special word in Akram Vignan. Shortcut to moksha, shortcut to liberation, shortcut to everything. Take the shortcut, you see. Shortcut means bypassing the intellect, you see. Bypassing the intellect. Intellect takes you in weird, wrong directions. Weird, wrong directions. Yes.
Yes.
Translation, please.
Dice, ¿qué, Fabi?
You translate what Cristian just said.
Eso, porque estaba muy largo.
Sí, estaba empezando. Empezamos juntas. Dice que poder ver y disfrutar este maravilloso mundo no lleva ningún esfuerzo, ¿no? Porque son los ojos los que ven. Entonces no hay nada que hacer con los ojos. Ellos ven automáticamente, ven sin ningún esfuerzo lo bello del mundo y no hacen nada. Esta es la visión relativa, es una visión relativa sin esfuerzo. Y la visión real es la conciencia que el otro que venga, sea difícil o no, o cualquiera sea la situación, no es mi tema, no es mi problema. Lo importante es quién soy yo, ¿no? Yo soy el eterno, el estado eterno, y ahí esa es la forma más fácil. Dada nos puso allí, nos trajo al hogar. Y fuera del hogar es cuando empacas, preparas tu valija para irte de viaje, y cuando vuelves a meter todo en la valija y vuelves al hogar. Y no te preocupas, no te preocupas de ninguna manera. Niruma dijo que ver el alma pura es lo más fácil, y resolver un archivo con ecuanimidad es lo más difícil, y aceptar ya bastit. Y el mundo es un rompecabezas. ¿Y por qué es un rompecabezas? Es un rompecabezas por la falta de aceptación de lo que está sucediendo. Entonces, ¿por qué te molesta alguien? Si ese alguien te molesta, es porque es un archivo. Y si no te molesta, no es un archivo. Entonces, a lo cual Cristian responde, este es el camino corto, y dice que sí, que en los Mahatmas lo usan mucho, el shortcut a moksha, a la liberación. Y el intelecto siempre te va a llevar en la dirección errónea.
The other definition of shortcut here is the natural way. It's much more easier to see the natural way rather than the unnatural, tortuous vision of the intellect, you see. The natural way, natural way. And fundamental to all of this is the word trupti. Trupti. Chat. Let me just write this down in the chat here. Trupti. Trupti. And it is trupti is contentment. Contentment means total satisfaction. Contentment through Gnan, you see. It's trupti. It's Gnan trupti. You've just had something very pleasant and pleasurable, and instead of enjoying it right there for what it is, you see, there is something within that moves away from what is not in front of us, which is the desire for more, you see. The desire for more is not contentment. Contentment means this is the moment, it's a simple cup of coffee and a piece of biscuit, and you enjoy it, and that's it, you see. The enjoyment is there for while one, and you are aware of it. But simultaneously, you will be aware that he or she, while one, is still looking for more or is fine. See, this is the constant process of awareness that is going on within all of us, in daily life. Enough versus no, more. Enough versus no. Enough versus, no, more.
Yes. Dice que esta es el ver el alma pura y el ir de esta manera es la forma natural, el camino natural. El camino que no es natural es un camino del intelecto, es un camino que te tortura. Y y saber esto es lo más importante. Y trae una palabra que es trupti, que es la aceptación a través del Gnan. Y tiene algo que es placentero y lo disfrutas por lo que es y hay, ¿no? Pero siempre existe el deseo de más, ¿no? El trupti es, por ejemplo, estás sentado tomando un café y lo disfrutas y tú eres consciente de que el file one está disfrutando el café. Pero file one va a decir, ya está pensando en que quiere más y siempre va a estar queriendo más.
So, we haven't read this description here of this details of Dada's satsang. So let's now read it.
I read it or you
yeah,
read
we
it?
read his Now we come to this one. The worldly life will perpetuate as long as you have the vision where you cannot see your own faults, and instead you continue only seeing the faults of others. And when you do not see a single fault of others, and instead you see all your own faults, know that you're ready to go to moksha. Now nothing can stop you in sansar, in life after life. See? That is it. That is the only difference in vision. This is the difference in vision. Perspective, cross it. It's the vision, seeing fault of others versus seeing faults of the self. The fact that you see mistakes of others is itself the flaw in your own vision.
Yes. La vida mundana se perpetúa mientras tengas la visión en la que no puedes ver tus propias faltas y en su lugar continúas viendo las faltas de los demás. Y cuando no veas ni una sola falta de los demás y en cambio tú veas todas tus propias faltas, sabrás que tú estás listo para ir a moksha. Eso es todo. Esa es la única diferencia de perspectiva, la visión, ¿no? El hecho de que tú veas los errores de los demás es en sí mismo el defecto de tu propia visión.
It is in this way that interference keeps happening in this world. One cannot see his own mistake, whereas he can immediately extract the mistakes of others. This is because the intellect is being used, isn't it? This is the repeat of the sutra, sentences from Aptavani 1 above, you see. And for those who do not use their intellect, for them there is no question of extracting the mistakes of others. They have no complaints at all, do they?
Así es como siguen produciéndose interferencias en este mundo. Uno no puede ver sus propios errores, mientras que puede extraer inmediatamente los errores de los demás. Y esto se debe a que se utiliza el intelecto, ¿no es así? Y para aquellos que no utilizan su intelecto, para ellos no es cuestión de señalar los errores de los demás. No tienen queja alguna, ¿verdad?
All right. Why did someone clash with you? That itself is your own fault. You'll be reminded of what happened earlier today with anyone, you see. You are bound because of your own faults. It is possible to become free simply by constantly seeing your own faults. In this flawless world, no one is at fault at all. So how can anyone be blamed? As long as the fault exists, the fault falls under the division that is of the ego. It's the ego's fault. And as long as that division it is not the division, but is in the content. Division, a fault under the division, the part that is the ego, you see. It is the part of the ego. As the faults fall under the ego, forget about it, the ego. And as long as the part of the ego is not clean, as long as that content of the ego is not clean, all the faults will not leave. And until then, the ego cannot be eradicated. The ego, if it contains faults, then you are not free, you see. The faults have to be washed off up to the point where the ego point when the ego gets completely eradicated. Ego means faults for all practical purposes. We keep seeing our own faults. That is how we become free. Simple sentence. We keep seeing our own faults, and that is how we become free. Let me just look at what Amara Dosto Jokari. Dadashri says, we kept seeing, this is Dadashri, Dada Shri, the Gnani Purush and Dada Bhagwan, helping him, kept seeing our own faults, and that is how we became free. When the we is under inverted commas like this, it means Dada. We became free. Once you understand your faults, first of all, it becomes understanding the faults, you start to become free. Okay.
¿Por qué alguien chocó contigo? Eso es culpa tuya. Tú estás atado por tus propias faltas. Es posible liberarse simplemente viendo constantemente tus propias faltas. En este mundo impecable, nadie es culpable en absoluto. Así que, ¿cómo se puede culpar a alguien? Mientras existan las faltas caen bajo el ego. Y mientras esa división no se limpie, todas las faltas no se irán. Y hasta entonces el ego no puede ser erradicado. Las faltas tienen que ser lavadas hasta el punto en que el ego sea erradicado. Nosotros seguimos viendo nuestras propias faltas y así es como nosotros nos liberamos. Una vez que tú comprendes tus propias faltas, tú empiezas a liberarte.
Beautiful. When the knowledge of the self is imparted, when we give the knowledge of the self, okay, that's the exact translation. When we give the knowledge of the self, one's eyes or the vision opens just a little. That is when he sees the one who is now awake, the developing eye. That is when he sees that I am separate from all of this. So now the relative, in the relative development in his of the I in the world of life after life begins with the awareness of separation. I am separate from all of this. That is called the vision. I am separate from this mind, speech, and body and everything that is associated with this mind, speech, and body. Then, as he spends more time sitting with us, the Gnani, with the Dada Bhagwan in him, his eyes continue to open more. Dada says the eyes continue to open more. Dada is just opening closed eyes and open eyes as an analogy, you see. The eyes continue to open more, and eventually he attains complete Jagruti, all right? Therefore, one will have to know the self, experience the self. Without the experience of the self, without knowing the self, no one will let you enter over there, which is moksha. This is exact. You have attained, now for all of us, you have attained Param Jyoti Swarup, the absolute state as the light of infinite knowledge, vision, okay, not bliss. Bliss is not a light. Bliss is the secondary natural consequence of knowledge vision. So the light of absolute knowledge and vision, you see. Param Jyoti Swarup. Now, do not interfere with it unnecessarily. What you have and I have received, do not mess with it. Do not interfere with it. Simple, keep it simple. Like Christian was saying, easy, shortcut, okay? The Param Jyoti Swarup, which could have been attained which could not have been attained, could not be attained in infinite lives previously, is what you have attained. And that is why you keep coming here, you see, keep coming here. Every week you come to Dada. Whenever possible, you try to be around the Gnani, you see, who is far away. But, you join him in his satsangs. Would anyone be able to come otherwise? You see? Otherwise means in ignorant state. Now it is the intellect. From now, for Mahatmas, it is the intellect that is interfering inside. The interference of the intellect is first inside and then it spills over outside. Let go of that intellect. Tell it, don't stick your hand in this. Right now, for us Mahatmas, after the Gnanvidhi, that intellect is suppressed again. It's been pushed down. If you deviate even a little from the Gnani, deviating a little from the Gnani means deviating from his agnas, then it will again take over. Therefore, continue to be cautious. All right, let you read this.
Yes.
Mm.
Cuando se imparte el conocimiento del ser, los ojos, la visión se abre, los ojos, ¿no? Es la visión a lo que se refiere, se abren un poco. Esto es una analogía. Es entonces cuando él ve, yo estoy separado de todo esto, y luego a medida que pasa más tiempo sentado con nosotros, sus ojos continúan abriéndose más y eventualmente obtiene el Jagruti completo. Por lo tanto, uno tendrá que conocer el ser. Sin conocer el ser, nadie te dejará entrar allí, a moksha. Esto es exacto. Tú has obtenido el Param Jyoti Swarup, el estado absoluto como la luz del infinito. Conocimiento, visión. Y la dicha dice que no, porque viene de conocimiento y visión la dicha. Ahora no interfieras necesariamente. El Param Jyoti Swarup, que no pudo ser obtenido en infinitas vidas, es lo que tú has obtenido. Y por eso sigues viniendo aquí. ¿Podría alguien venir de otra manera? En estado de ignorancia se refiere, ¿no? Ahora es el intelecto el que está interfiriendo en tu interior. Suelta ese intelecto, dile, no metas la mano en esto. Ahora mismo está suprimido de nuevo. Si te desvías incluso un poco del Gnan, entonces volverás a tomar el control. Por lo tanto, sigue siendo cauteloso.
Okay. This is in very short words here in this paragraph. Dadashri has described the progress of the human being from the slight awakening, the second phase of the moon after the Gnanvidhi, but in the Gnanvidhi, there is that exact understanding, that the exact experience that I'm separate from all of this. It is because of the experience, the knowledge of the self has happened. The Gnanvidhi means the knowledge of the self has happened. It's not something that the knowledge of the self is going to come later. The knowledge of the self has happened. The experience of the self has happened. Soya Mapura are no longer ordinary words. They represent the experience of the self. Do not let anybody confuse you about that.
Dice que el progreso del ser humano tiene diferentes facetas como la luna, ¿no? Y en el Gnanvidhi tienes la experiencia del alma pura. Esto es el Gnanvidhi, es el conocimiento del ser. Y tienes la experiencia porque este conocimiento del ser sucedió. Entonces ahora soy alma pura, representa tu experiencia.
Okay. And then after that, he spends more time sitting with us. That is Agna 5. And understanding in Agna 5 and in satsangs the amazing beauty and the glory of what we have received, this glorious Amapura that I am. You see, I am infinite knowledge, I am infinite vision, I am infinite bliss. You see, there is no other source outside. I am the source of all self bliss. You see.
Ujú. Dice, luego de esta experiencia y que va pasando el tiempo, quieren pasar más tiempo con nosotros, sentados con nosotros, dice Dada. Y esto es el Acta 5, ¿no? Es estar en la gloria del alma pura. Y yo soy el conocimiento infinito, yo soy la visión infinita, yo soy la energía infinita, yo soy la dicha infinita. Y no hay otra fuente que el ser, yo soy la fuente de todo esto.
That is why every day you and I in our charan we recite Hum Param Jyoti Swarup Siddha Bhagavan Chu. You see, I am the accomplished Lord. Siddha Bhagavan, I am the accomplished, absolutely accomplished Lord that is represented as the absolute eternal light of the self. Yes, I am the eternal light that is the self. This is incomparable in the history of the world. This amazing Akram Vignan has no precedence in religion. Nothing ever happened like this before in the history of this world of ours. You see?
Dice que por eso recitamos todos los días en el Charan Vidi que yo soy el rol, el absoluto Lord que representa la eterna luz del ser. Y esta es este conocimiento es incomparable en la historia de la historia.
Yeah, right. This is not, the other, she says, I give you kevad, absolute, Gnan Swarup, Paramatma. I may give you absolute knowledge in the Gnan Vidi, but you will not be able to digest it, you see. And so further digestion is made possible through the understanding of the agnas,
Dada dice también que yo te di el absoluto conocimiento en el Gran Vidi, que no podrás digerir solo, lo podrás digerir a través del entendimiento de las 5 agnas.
Ananta avatarma na pamya evu param jyoti swarup. In infinite previous incarnations, in bodies that we have held, we have been witness of, we have gone through, we did not attain this, and in this life we did, you see. Param Jyoti Swarup. Param Jyoti Swarup means absolute light of the self that I am, you see, as the self, absolute light as the self, absolute light as the self.
Durante infinitas encarnaciones previas fuimos testigos y ahora lo obtuvimos y recibimos la absoluta luz como el ser.
Yeah, this complete Jagruti that Dadashri speaks about up here is Keval Gnan, absolute knowledge only, pure knower, seer state, Gnayak state, nothing left in the relative. The relative may be there, but there is pure, absolute awareness of that which is, you see, complete Jagruti.
Dada dice que el Jagruti completo, ¿no? Es el puro conocimiento y visión. Es un estado de conciencia que permite observar lo relativo.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Um, just double checking with the Gujarati again here. Whether moksha is succeed. Okay. You see, and this is a warning. Do not interfere with it unnecessarily. He's not talking about interference in the relative here, okay? Interfering with somebody, the use of the intellect, none of that. He says, do not interfere with unnecessarily. This side of the line of demarcation, you see, the world of Dada Bhagwan has been accomplished for you. It will, the second phase will go into the third phase, into the fourth phase, and then there will be the full moon, you see. So on this part, you do not interfere at all. Not try to interfere with means, did I receive it? Did it happen? Why is it that I do not feel the experience? All of these things are actually questions of the intellect because of the lack of understanding of of the agnas. Any question that a Mahatma has after the Gnan Vidhi is the lack of understanding of the agnas. It has got nothing to do with the process that is absolutely as pure as it can be, and it is the magnificent gift of the Gnani Purush for his Akram Vignan Mahatmas, you see.
Yes. Dice que el completo Jagruti, bueno, no, dice que, a ver, sorry. Ahora dice que nos da una advertencia, que no interfiramos, no hagamos interferencia. Eso es una advertencia. Ahora es el intelecto el que está interfiriendo en tu interior. Suelta el intelecto. Y el intelecto surge por falta de entendimiento de las agnas.
Yeah, you see, this, wow, I mean, I can just, even though I have not met our dearest Gnani Purush Dadashri, I can see him saying this. I can visualize, I can hear his words, the sound of his words as he's saying this, when he says, you have attained Param Jyoti Swarup, you are the light, not many before could say these things. They could not say it as clearly. And we say it in the Charan Vidi every day, you see. Param Jyoti, third sentence, fourth sentence we say it. Param Jyoti Swarup, Siddha Bhagwan Chu, you see. So he says it and he says, now therefore at this level do not disturb it in any way. Do not try to cross-check anything. Yes, because the only cross-checking cannot do because the other path is a kramic path, step-by-step path. There's nothing to compare. There is nothing to compare Akram Vignan with. There is nothing. There is nothing. Comparison is out and it is replaced by the experience, your experience, Fabi's, Damian's, Sandra's experience of bliss eternal. But before bliss eternal, knowledge eternal. The knowledge eternal is knowledge that doesn't require libraries, doesn't require storage, doesn't require gigabytes or terabytes of space knowledge that simply is part of who am I, you see. This is who am I. This is simply there. It is simply there.
Sí. Dice que las preguntas, por ejemplo, todas las preguntas que surgen por el intelecto y eso falta de entendimiento de las agnas. Y Dada dice, yo te di el absoluto conocimiento, el absoluto conocimiento. Y en este nivel que estás, no compares Akram Vignan con nada, porque allí nada existe. Al tener esta experiencia, primero tenemos el conocimiento eterno, que no requiere libros, ni librerías, ni nada por el estilo. Y tenemos la dicha eterna. Y esto es parte de lo que soy. Esto está allí, es parte de lo que soy.
Yeah, and he now talks about the interfering factor, the interfering component, and the interfering component is not from outside, it is an internal thing, and he blames the intellect. He says that the interference is from the intellect. The intellect will say, why am I not feeling this? How come I got left behind? Everybody is in bliss. Now you cannot talk about the bliss of the other Mahatma. Impossible. You yourself and I can only experience our own bliss. The bliss of the other one is the very fact that he has become a Mahatma through the Gnan Vidhi. When his understanding reaches that level, when his eyes open with clarity, when the eyes have opened, but when all the cobwebs and the bushes get removed from in front of him, then it will manifest in him too. So the bliss is a secondary thing. The agna is primary in this, you see. The agna is associated with bliss, you see.
Ujú. También habla del componente de la interferencia, ¿no? Y las interferencias suceden debido al intelecto. Y por ahí podemos decir, ¿por qué yo no siento esto? Él está sintiendo la dicha o no está sintiendo la dicha. Y dice, solo no podemos mirar la dicha del otro si la siente o no la siente, solo podemos tener la experiencia de nuestra propia dicha. Pero antes que lo más importante de todo son las agnas, es lo primordial. Y luego viene la dicha.
He, when he says now, right now it is suppressed. Again, what he's saying is the power of the Gnan Vidhi and the initial energies are so magnificent of this awakened one, the Param Jyoti Swarup that has awakened, you see. Inside. It is not something that is going to happen later on. Param Jyoti Swarup by 2% has happened in the Gnan Vidhi. 2% experience has happened of the absolute state of the self. Absolute means beyond duality. Duality means pleasure, pain. Absolute means beyond pleasure and pain in life, in the second component of what we discussed earlier in the Gnan and on Dada's words today. See, so this has happened. This has really happened, you see.
Ujú. Estar en el absoluto estado del ser es algo que sucedió y que está la experiencia que hemos tenido en el Gnan Vidhi. Y esto es algo que suprime el cerebro, el intelecto nuevamente.
Oh, you see, and he says right now it is suppressed means because not much time has passed in Agnas yet. You see, not much time has passed since the Gnan Vidhi. The intellect shuts up, you see. But if you deviate even a little from the Gnani means Gnani's Agnas, then it will take over again. Therefore, continue to be very careful. And by the way, this entire last paragraph here, this from this onwards here, Jagat, in this world, let me see, just double checking. When the knowledge of the self is given to you, imparted, this last paragraph, Okay, and the subtle details in it are from Aptavani 14, volume number 5, and we are still in the Parayan of volume number 4. You see, so this thing here is in the final words of the Aptavani, you see.
Ujú. Estas son las palabras finales del Aptavani, ¿no? 14, que estamos que tiene 5 volúmenes. Y dice que hemos tenido la experiencia, pero caer de nuevo al intelecto es como que nos separa. Pero volver a las agnas es lo que nos conecta nuevamente con el estado del ser absoluto.
When you say, when you tell, just like you fire someone who is, you fire means you say, don't come to work again, you see. In the same way, with the intellect, that is the approach as far as when the intellect tries to disturb this magnificent Gnan and the experience that has begun within each one of us, you see. Do not, tell them, do not stick your hand in this, you see. Do not. This is all, this is the essence of progress, intellect is equivalent to having, your engine has been separated from the whole train and, of so many compartments. But intellect means the heaviest compartment that you were pulling behind in the train is now again joining to the engine. It is, it's dragging you. It cannot let you move freely, you see. And the engine is really the awakened one, you see, and the Jagrut one, you see.
Dice que, dice que, el soltar el intelecto, ¿no? Es como cuando despides a una persona que le dices que no te pegues nuevamente, y trae como la alegoría del tren, ¿no? La máquina fue separada de todos los vagones, entonces estamos separados, la máquina va, pero cuando el intelecto viene viene e interfiere, es soltar nuevamente todos los vagones, porque son esos vagones pesados los que te arrastran fuera del estado del alma pura.
Vishuddhatma Bhagwan, all of you. It has been wonderful to be with you and to take a wonderful dip in this ocean of bliss of Dada. The words, how he really kind of just says, come, 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 it's here, right here, to be with you. Thank you so much. We see you again soon.
Muy lindo estar con todos ustedes compartiendo estas palabras de Dada que dicen, vengan, vengan, vengan. Jai Sachidanand and Shuddha, thank you.
Jai Sachidanand. Thank you, Patricia, Fabi, and Cristain. Jai Shuddha, Jai, all of you. Jai Sachidanand. See you.
Jai Sachidanand, Shuddha.
Jai Sachidanand.